about 15 minutes worth of Q&A. Then we will split the rest of the time amongst our 3 student athletes. Coach, we know for a fact that your first question is going to come right side, second row right there in the aisle.
I knew it.
Of course. Hey, Coach.
Hey,
Jim McGill, Barron Cider. You've had a record number of turnover this last year. I think over 50 new people between grad transfers, portal transfers, and freshmen. What have been some of the most complicated things navigating that, and what have been some of the most pleasant surprises you've seen so far through spring and summer workouts?
Yeah, the most complicated thing, I think, is just the time and the numbers. You know, from year to year, that number's going to change. This year was higher than maybe we would have thought, but we have an unbelievable team of people around us. It's obviously the coaches, but we have an incredible staff, personnel staff, and now added GM, Coach Ron Rivera, and we got a lot of support to go identify players who physically we feel like can help us, who are going to fit in at Cal and have the character traits that we're looking for. And I think the pleasant surprise has been just once those guys have been identified and getting them into school and getting them connected together, it's been really, really fun to watch. We got a lot of really good guys on the team. We got some, and they're talented players, but the way that they've come together starting in January and then, you know, absorbing some guys even this June onto the team and working together, it's really shown up on the field and in the locker room with how connected those guys are, and that's been a pleasant surprise.
Coach, left side, first row, right in front of you.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. How are you, Coach?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Just to go deeper into the general manager portion side of things, just how the college football world has evolved that now we have these general managers, and then specifically what it's like to work with Ron Rivera.
Yeah, I think the term maybe is a little more fluid than it is in pro football, in my opinion. I haven't been in pro football, but for the most part in pro football, the GM role is pretty standard. You know, it's roster management, working with the coach, a cap person, identifying players, contracts, those type of things. And there's a significant amount of that that's happening in college, but the difference is there's recruiting, you know, versus drafting. That's a big difference. And the kind of the fluid nature of college football versus the contract lengths in the NFL, that's different. There's constituent groups, there's working with the campus, there's working with donors to raise money. And the second part of your question, Coach Rivera, it's been unbelievable. I mean, he's got so many different experiences in pro football, which have helped, just organizational structure, roster management, talking about players, you know, situational football, kind of from a 10,000-foot view. But his job is, I mean, it's dynamic now. I mean, he's talking to donors, he's an advocate, he's talking to folks on campus, directly to the chancellor. And so I think in college, like, we hear that term GM, but I think it really depends on which school and how they define that role, because there probably are schools where it is just cap and players. And then there's schools like us where it's a bigger role. It's really just the tip of the spear of football in general. And there's a lot that goes into that. So I think that's where, you know, it's a little bit different than maybe the NFL.
Coach, right side, fifth row, hard to the right.
Hey, Coach. Thomas Christopher from the League Winners. Last year we saw a quarterback competition between Fernando Mendoza and Chandler Rogers. Will that be the case? I mean, obviously those two are gone now. Will we see a similar type of competition play out between Devin and Jerron?
Yeah, you know, we feel really good about our quarterback room. Devin, Jaron, EJ, we got some talented quarterbacks. Not a ton of experience. That just is what it is. Now, Devin came to us in January. Devin's, you know, been in college football. He's been trained very well. He's a really smart guy. He's very mature. He's done some great stuff for us. Jaron came in mid-year out of high school. Very natural football player. It's going to be competitive in that room, and it's going to be competitive throughout the roster, to be honest with you. But the good thing is we feel like this team at each position is probably as competitive or more competitive than any team we've had in our tenure there. So that's a good thing. The goal is to bring in as many good players as we possibly can who fit us, who fit Cal, and let the competition sort the depth chart out.
Coach, your next two questions will be side by side, third row left.
Coach, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Katrina Sackins, Sports and Culture Media. Piggybacking off the question from the front row, we've seen a wave of schools transitioning into the GM world. With newly added Ron Rivera, what insight are you hoping he brings to this program as well as your coaching strategies on the field?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, we get to talk about anything and everything that has to do with Cal football. And when Coach got there, I mean, there's an element of him, watching kind of what we do and how this college football thing is working and the similarities to pro football and then the significant differences to pro football and talking through those and how, his experiences and what he's been through, how we can take and learn from those and apply them, whether it's, third down defense or organizational structure and coaching and roster management and all these different things. So it's been awesome. I mean, it really has. And the thing that makes it so unique is, he's a Cal Bear through and through. I mean, and he will tell you that, and he will carry that flag, and he obviously carries a lot of weight with our donor group and our campus, and just who he is as a person, his experience, what he's accomplished in his life. It's just been awesome for me personally, for our coaching staff, for our players, for our donor base, for our university. It's just been an incredible addition and advocate for Cal football.
Coach, we'll stay right there.
Hey, Coach, Tony Syracuse, the last word on sports. You've been coaching, you've been in the system for quite a few years. Are these changes with the way college sports is structured, college football is structured, is it harder for someone who has been in to make, as long as you have to make that transition, as opposed to a coach who has basically just grown up during this?
Do I look that old?
You don't look that
Okay, well,
old, but you've
thanks.
been doing this a few years.
You weren't supposed to answer that, but okay. That's a great question. It's changed a lot, but it's really changed in the last 4 or 5 years. From 2001 to 2019, the names and faces changed, but essentially the rules of the game and how it was done were pretty similar. And then it's changed a lot. The things that the players are subject to and kind of the changes in college football with the transfer portal, conference realignment, NIL, and players making money now, that is significant. Any one of those things in a 10-year window would be a big deal. And when they all three happen kind of at the same time, boy, that's a lot of change. And so it's our job as coaches is to help, navigate that for our respective programs. So that has been different, and it's been a challenge, and it's been fun, and there's been some times where it's, not as fun, but you're just trying to find a way to do what's best for the program, because that's ultimately our job. And when you start taking into account the coaching history and what were you accustomed to, at the end of it, these guys need mentoring and they need coaching. And I know there's this kind of feeling sometimes, whether it's from fans or donor bases or schools or even coaches, well, it's like, well, now they get paid. It's like the NFL, but it's not. They're 17, 18 to 22, 23-year-old guys. They still need to be coached. They still need to be mentored, okay? Is it a bit more complicated? Yes, it is. But I will tell you what hasn't changed is when you go to meetings, that hasn't changed. Like the rules of the game, the dimensions are the same. It's still 11 on 11. The rules are the same. The fundamentals of the game haven't changed. What's important, how to block, how to tackle, pad level, all these things that we've talked about, how to backpedal, what's cover three, like that hasn't changed. So from when you go to the meeting room and you go to the walkthrough and you go to the football field, it's the same. If you have an issue as a coach or an administrator or a staff member with this new environment, then you got to decide whether it's for you or not, It's our job to coach the guys and mentor them and help them become better. If you, as a coach, don't like it, like we're all working here on our own free will. We don't have to coach. We have to be a part of these programs. We get to do this, and we better adapt. And it might, I can understand there's some frustration at times figuring out, like, how's this going to go? But you either, figure it out and find a way to embrace the change and continue to coach them and mentor them because that's what they need, or you need to do something else.
Coach, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs, Locked On ACC. Your coach, this team was competitive all last year. However, 2-5 in single digit or one score games. How do you fix that, especially being in the unique situation of losing your statistical leader in virtually every category? How do you fix that into this year with so many new faces?
Yeah, you didn't need to remind me, but I know the stat. Yeah, some difficult, frustrating losses. We had plenty of opportunities to win those games, and I wish it was as simple as, well, we need to do this one drill or address this one position or fix this one problem. It's not that simple. It's everything. It's coaching and schematics. What are we going to do better? It's off-season programming. What are we going to do better? It's food. It's our class schedule, so we have the best situation to teach and practice our players. It's admissions and recruitment and talent acquisition and talent retention. It's support from every level of our institution. It's our sports med. I mean, I could name 50 things that can help us, okay? And thankfully, Coach Rivera and our chancellor have been very, very supportive in things that we can do to make the program better, because ultimately it's one play in the game. It's one more defensive stop. It's another score in the red zone on offense, a touchdown, and maybe a field goal that we connect on, okay? But any one of those 50 things, like, we all got to be pulling in the same direction, so when those moments come up, that we're able to capitalize on them and win those games. And the other thing you can do to solve for that is not be in so many close games and score more points and get them off the field more often. So you either create bigger margins, or when those margins are small, you got to be better in those critical moments. You had a second part to your question. Oh, the statistical leaders. Yeah, I mean, last year we had, I can't recall all the statistics, but we were a pretty darn good defense. We had a few bad quarters, but overall we had a pretty darn good defense. Now, we lost some really good players off that defense. However, we got some dang good players back, and we feel like there's some young guys and some new guys, I should say, not just young guys, but new guys who are going to be really good defensive players. Offensively, we weren't as good statistically. We didn't score as much as we needed to. I'm a firm believer you got to try to get to 4 offensive touchdowns a game. Now, is that always going to happen? Maybe not, but that's the goal, score 4 offensive touchdowns a game. We were a little short on that. We know that we lost some players, but we also feel like we have added some players, and we can be as or more productive offensively. And then in the special teams game, it's field position and executing field goals. And so all that right there can be the difference in those one-score games, which if you win those, then we're up here probably having a totally different conversation.
Coach, thank you for the time. You can switch spots with Devin.
Thank you.
And we will spend about 4 minutes or so with our quarterback. If you've asked a question already, please reset yourselves and who you're with. We're going to take our first question right down here in the first row, Devin, on your right side.
Hi, Devin. Ralph Amsden, Unafraid Show. I just want to know what role Keon Gray's played in getting you over to Cal. I know you've had a long relationship with him.
Yeah, long relationship with Keon. Known him since being an Arizona high school athlete to being at Ohio State together. He was calling me pretty much every day trying to get me to come be a Bear, and it worked.
We'll go right side. We'll stay just behind the gentleman that just asked the question, so second row right on the edge.
Jim McGill, Bear Insider. Devin, what are some of the biggest differences that you've seen coming from Ohio State to Cal? Totally different system, totally different culture, different part of the country. What are some of those biggest differences you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally different football, and it's totally different life, right? I mean, Big Ten football compared to ACC football is night and day different in terms of the people and the staff and life outside of football with the fans and stuff like that. But weather has been a different change for me as well. But I love West Coast football. I love being a part of Cal, and I'm just super excited to actually get to do it.
Devin, left side, right in front of you, first row.
Devin, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. The decision to come to Cal, though, what is it about the school itself, the program, Coach Wilcox? What spoke to you that made more sense than any other place you could have gone?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, the history of the quarterback position at Cal is long, and with Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff. I mean, the list goes on. And then being able to build a relationship with Coach Wilcox and Coach Harsin and Coach Rollo and all these coaches in such a short amount of time while I was still in season, it was a tough time in my life. But the relationships that I built from just a phone call, I knew it would only continue to grow in person, and I just knew I had trust in them. I knew I believed in what they were preaching and believed what we could do at Cal would be something really special, and so I jumped on board.
Devin, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs, Locked On ACC. In terms of the QB room, Coach Wilcox alluded to it. You all are extremely young in terms of playing experience, especially in meaningful playing time. What have Coach Wilcox and Coach Harsin done to kind of flatten that curve out and make things a little bit easier for you and the rest of the guys that are in that quarterback competition currently?
Yeah, every guy is different, obviously. You know, all the guys in the room are their first year there or maybe 2 years in college football. I've been in college football for 3 years now. This will be my 4th season. So the biggest thing for me was language. But they've been great on figuring out what things are different for me. And there really wasn't a whole lot of change other than the language. But then it came into the role of me helping the other guys and giving my ideas to help further build this offense, because there's so many different guys in that staff room with Coach Cephala, with Coach Griffin, with Coach Anaya, and Coach Rollo and Harsin, that the offense is always evolving and always changing with so many different ideas being pushed into it. So me being able to come from another system and add my values and add my thoughts, it's been really interesting.
So Devin, right side, 2 rows directly behind him.
Brandon Pockris of the League Winners. Over the summer, what was your main focus and what was your mentality? And then carrying that over as you head towards fall camp, what's your mentality and what are you hoping to showcase ahead of the regular season?
Yeah, the biggest thing this whole offseason has just been building the trust of this team in me. Coming in early on, I had to figure out all my relationships with everybody, just, figuring out who these guys were, letting guys know who I am, what I like to do outside of football. And so the biggest thing was building relationships on and off the field. The O-line had to be able to trust they could be my friend off the field, because they're not going to want to block for somebody that they don't like, right? And so that was a big thing for me, whether it was inviting guys over to watch fights at the house or come over for dinner or just setting up going to play pickleball or something like that. That was really important for me. And then building into the season, this team's been through a lot. There was a lot of games they should have won last year, and so there's still a sour taste in a lot of these guys' mouth, and they want to go out there and show the world that this team's a really good football team and can do a lot of special things. And all the new guys that have come in are on that same mission. Everybody that's come in here wants to change the outlook on this program, because we know we have something really special, and so it's going to be really interesting to see how tough and how competitive this team really is.
Devin, your last question will come left side, white shirt. Is that where we are? Yes. Hustle down, and we'll see if we can get it in.
How you doing, Colby Dant, College Football Experience? I was wondering if you're going to wear the number 33 again, because I read that you did that after Sammy Ball, and is Coach going to let you play safety and punt as well?
I doubt that. I'm sure he doesn't want me to do anything too physical. I mean, maybe he'll get mad at me for trying to run somebody over or something instead of getting out of bounds. But I wanted to wear 33. We have another teammate that has it, and he won't give it up. So it's being a little stingy, but I wanted it. We'll see what happens.
Devin, thank you. You can switch places with Aiden.
Thank you, guys.
Aiden will step up and spend a few minutes with us. And Aiden, there's nothing surreptitious here. I've been practicing. Kiana Ina?
Yes, that's correct.
Well done. Thank you. I get a gold star. Who wants the first question for Aiden, please? Aiden will go first row right here. And then Aiden will go first row left as the second question.
All right.
All right, so sticking on the numbers. I know you're a 92 in high school, 92 at Notre Dame. Why 47 at Cal? Why is a 6'3", 320 player wearing 47?
Yeah, no, I think just entering the portal and coming here to Cal, I really want to change it up. I went with 92 is my number. It's year my dad graduated college, my mom. It's something that was important to me, but I want a new opportunity, and I wanted to just be a little different. And so I just remember talking through it with multiple people, and just the number 47 stood out to me, and I think it fit perfectly. And so I rolled with it, and it's been perfect.
So left side, first row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Aiden, you have co-defensive coordinators, Coach Terrence and Coach Vic, that were elevated just what you can say to their leadership and how you've seen them work together to develop a plan that you think will be successful in 2025.
Yeah, no, I love our coaching staff. I'm very grateful for Coach Wilcox, hiring within house. I think keeping, the guys around that I've been comfortable with has been amazing for all of us. They built this defensive culture from from when I came in to where it is now. And, I think both of them bring amazing aspects to what our defense is going to be in this upcoming year. I think, you have Coach Soto with that front seven. I think he brings aggression and he brings pressure and he brings, necessary things we need in that front seven. But then you have Coach TB who has the back end. He's helping us with those coverage. That's where he specializes. They both specialize in these different areas, and having both of them work together, because our entire defensive staff does an amazing job of collaborating. They go in their meeting rooms before every game, and rank disappears. They all work together to create the best defensive strategy and plan for every team we play. And so having both of them there, I think, is going to be an amazing advantage for us.
Hayden, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs, Locked On ACC. You talked about the aggression and the kind of pressure that is brought out of the front seven. After losing guys like Xavier Carlton and Danny Buchanan, you're losing 14 sacks there. If we're looking for this defensive front to emulate that kind of pressure that you all bought last year, how do you plan on doing that? And who are some names to break out that we may not have on our radars right now?
Yeah, of course. I think our staff has done an amazing job of filling those gaps that we needed. Those guys are moving on to bigger things, professional or whatever, professional lives, professional sports, and I'm so happy for them and seeing their career continue. But I think our coaching staff, Coach Wilcox and our two defensive coordinators, done a great job of filling those roles with some guys. I think Ram is going to be amazing. He was amazing for us last year, and we brought in some new guys for. X is going to be difficult to replace, but I think we have some new guys in there that are going to step up and fill that role. And I think that the D-line being one of the more experienced groups is really going to help this defense overall with bringing the pressure on every day.
Aiden, a moment ago from the podium here, you used the word culture. Someone with deep Polynesian roots, how does your cultural identity influence the approach that you take to football, competition, life?
Yeah, no, I think most Polynesians can agree with me that family is one of the main values that we have, and I try to bring that in all aspects of in my room and in Cal. I think the Cal locker room's culture has been amazing. Coming in here last year, they brought me in immediately. They did an amazing job making me feel comfortable with the team, and I have some amazing relationships with guys that are no longer a part of the team, and guys that are still on the team now that I played with last year, and that are going to continue. And I think Cal's locker room culture is one of the best I've ever seen.
Aiden, thank you. You and Cade can switch spots.
Thank you.
And we will finish time with our linebacker. Cade, as we get set, we know our first question is going to come second row. Right there on the edge, right in front of you, to the right.
Jim McGill, Insider. Cade, you started off real strong in your first 2 years. Now you've got a GM in here who's a legendary Cal middle linebacker. Have you had some heart-to-heart talks with him about what it takes to be just the best in the business at the position you play?
Definitely. I think having Coach Rivera here has been a great addition to our team, and like you said, he's a legendary figure in Cal football, and so being able to have him has been tremendous. I know we got his jersey hung up in the inside linebacker room, so having him be around for practice and interact with us has been great. During practice, kind of noticed that Coach Rivera kind of comes to the linebackers most of the time, and so it's good to talk to him, and he'll give us pointers of how to be a successful player, especially at linebacker. And so being able to have him here and help us out has been absolutely tremendous, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity.
Okay, left side, third row, almost to the wall.
Katrina Sacking, Sports and Culture Media. Kate, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. From minimal playing time to Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year in 2023 to leader and full-time starter last season, what's the adjustment to that new leadership position looked like for you, and how are you handling that?
The adjustment has been great. I think, like you said, it's gone really fast, and naturally, I feel like me being a leader has been something I've had to learn, and it's been an awesome experience. coming from, being a Pac-12 freshman of the year and working my way up, it's definitely put me in a role to be a leader, especially as coming back to Cal as many people left and, we got new faces coming in. That's just how college football is nowadays. It's put me in this position where I need to be a leader, and I'm willing to do so. And I feel like it's helped me as a person, as a player, and it's just a cool opportunity.
Cade, right side, fifth row, all the way to the right.
And Thomas Christopher from the League Winners. Okay, last year you said that mastering the mental side of the game, like recognizing formations, was like your next step as a player. How have you gone about? How much progress have you made in that area, and what's your focus on this year?
Yeah, I think like you're saying, being a student of the game has been something that I've worked on a lot, and I feel like I've gone a lot better at. Obviously, football is a game that people are learning constantly. See, like you got people in the NFL that are still learning the game and still, new things come up. And so just being a student of the game and being able to, stay on top of everything has been crucial for me and how I play. And I just plan on continuing to do so. And as far as this next year comes along, for me to become a better player, I think again, just being a student of the game and, getting bigger, stronger, faster is always a key, and being a good leader. I think when you have good players around you, you play better. And so for me to help, other players be the best they can be will help me. And so just being a team player and doing as much as I can for the team, and just setting an example. Once you set an example, people are going to follow. So
Staying on the right side, young lady right at the aisle, right up the middle to your right.
Kaz Clayton with New Era Prep. Cade, what does it mean to represent Cal at ACC Media Days in this new chapter of the program?
I think it's great. I think to be able to represent Cal, being on the West Coast, coming out here to ACC territory is huge, and I think that just brings more attention to the ACC in a whole of being coast to coast, right? And so to be able to represent this university is huge. Being the #1 public university in the world and being able to be part of the ACC is tremendous, and and to represent football is awesome as well. And then we also got a ton of other sports that compete in the ACC as well, and so it just means a lot, to be able to come out here and support and have the support from the ACC, and we're grateful to be here. And as long as the plane flight might be a little long, but we're still here to play and still give it our all. So.
Cade, your last question, front row to your left.
Okay, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. The additions that have come into the linebacker core, just what you can speak to in that sense. We know that some guys have left in the transfer portal, but you also have talent that's coming in and what that looks like in the linebacker room.
Yeah, I think our linebacker room is very talented. I think we have a lot of good players that are super athletic, have a nose for the ball, and just love football. And I think that's the main thing. So I know we got a bunch of guys coming in. We got Boom Jock. We got Harrison Taggart. I think another young guy coming up, Luke Ferrelli. I think all these guys are ballers, and they're all willing to do whatever it takes to play the other linebacker position. But overall, as a group, I think we're super tight. The linebackers, we do everything together. We hang out all the time, and so the competition is very competitive, you could say. I think the whole group is super competitive, and we're just ready to go out and ball. I think Cal has had a history of good linebackers, and we're ready to continue that tradition going forward, and we're ready to be a staple on defense and just keep on balling out and doing our thing and just play with confidence.
Cade and the Golden Bears, good luck this year.
Thank you. Go Bears.
Thanks for being with us. Folks, Virginia is due up next and last for this first day. They are due in